Ambassador Zixthar clicked his mandibles nervously as he watched the human delegation approach the Grand Council chamber. Their guards walked empty-handed, no plasma rifles, no energy shields, not even ceremonial blades. Either they're incredibly foolish, he muttered to his aide, or they know something we don't. The sight made every other species security detail grip their weapons tighter. The Galactic Council had convened for the most important session in 1,000 years. Humanity's application for full membership hung in the balance, and tensions ran higher than a supernova's core temperature. Representatives from 47 different species filled the massive crystal dome, each accompanied by their finest warriors bristling with advanced weaponry. The Korthak delegation brought their infamous plasma cannons. The crystalline Etherians floated behind energy barriers that could deflect meteors. Even the peaceful Verdani had grown thorny combat appendages for the occasion. Yet there stood Captain Sarah Chen and her team of 6 human guards, wearing simple black uniforms with empty holsters. "We don't need weapons," she had told the Council's security chief earlier, "because we are the weapons." The alien official had dismissed this as typical human bravado, but something in her calm smile made him uneasy. The session began with accusations flying faster than photon torpedoes. The Korthak ambassador slammed his armored fist on the table. "Humans are too aggressive for civilized society. They've fought wars on every continent of their homeworld." The crowd murmured agreement, their various appendages, tentacles, and claws gesturing menacingly. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood slowly, her diplomatic guard maintaining perfect stillness behind her. "You're absolutely right," she said, her voice carrying across the chamber without amplification. "We have fought. We've fought against tyranny, against injustice, against those who would harm the innocent. But tell me, honored delegates, what happens when you remove a human's weapons?" The Etherian representative's crystals chimed with laughter. "Obviously, they become harmless. Basic logic dictates that weaponless beings pose no threat." Captain Chen stepped forward, and though she moved with casual grace, every alien warrior in the room tensed. "With respect, sir, you've never studied human history. Remove our weapons, and we pick up rocks. Remove the rocks, and we use sticks. Remove the sticks, and we use our hands. Remove our hands, and we use our teeth. Remove our teeth, and we use our words. And if you somehow manage to remove our words." She paused, her smile becoming something that made apex predators from a dozen worlds take unconscious steps backward. "Well, then we use our minds." The tension shattered when the Korthak security chief, a veteran of countless battles, made a fatal error. Interpreting the human's stillness as weakness, he drew his plasma rifle and aimed it at Ambassador Vasquez. Perhaps a demonstration of superior firepower will end this charade. What happened next would be analyzed in military academies across the galaxy for centuries. The 6 human guards moved as one fluid organism, their coordination so perfect it seemed choreographed. They didn't draw weapons they didn't possess. Instead, they became living weapons. Private Jackson used the Korthak's own momentum against him, redirecting the massive alien's charge into a pillar with nothing but a subtle shift of his shoulder. Sergeant Williams disabled 3 Etherian barriers by exploiting a resonance frequency she calculated in her head while moving. Corporal Davis turned a ceremonial decoration into an improvised tool that neutralized 2 plasma cannons before their operators could blink. The most remarkable moment came when Captain Chen faced down the Verdani combat specialist. As the plant being's razor-sharp thorns extended toward her, she simply said, "I know you're not really angry. You're scared. We all are. But fear doesn't have to make us enemies." The Verdani's thorns slowly retracted, replaced by something like wonder in his ancient eyes. In less than 30 seconds, the most heavily armed diplomatic gathering in galactic history had been neutralized without a single shot fired, without a drop of blood spilled, without even a harsh word spoken beyond truth itself. Ambassador Vasquez surveyed the stunned chamber. "You see, honored delegates, humans don't carry weapons to diplomatic meetings for the same reason we don't bring umbrellas to a desert. We simply don't need them. She gestured to her guards, who had already returned to their relaxed positions. These individuals represent something more dangerous than any weapon ever forged. They represent human potential guided by human values. The Korthak ambassador, now nursing his bruised ego more than his bruised shell, stared at the humans with newfound respect. I don't understand. How did they move like that? How did they know exactly what to do? Captain Chen answered with the patience of a teacher addressing a curious student. We train not just our bodies, but our minds. We study every species, every fighting style, every weakness and strength. But more importantly, we learn when not to fight. The greatest victory is the one that leaves everyone alive to learn from it. The silence that followed was different from the tense quiet that had preceded the incident. This was the silence of minds being changed, of prejudices crumbling, of understanding dawning like a new star. Finally, the ancient Etherian elder spoke, his crystals chiming with something that might have been admiration. In all my cycles, I have never seen such controlled power. Such disciplined strength. Perhaps we have misjudged humanity's readiness for membership in our council. The vote was unanimous. For the first time in galactic history, a species was accepted not despite being dangerous, but because they had learned to be dangerous responsibly. As the human delegation prepared to leave, Ambassador Vasquez turned to address the assembly one final time. We come not as conquerors, but as guardians. Not as warriors, but as protectors. We carry no weapons because we understand that the greatest weapon of all is the choice not to use it. That is what makes us human. That is what makes us ready. As the massive chamber doors sealed behind the human delegation, 47 different species sat in contemplative silence, each wondering what other assumptions they might need to reconsider about these strange, weaponless warriors from the third planet of an unremarkable star.